95.1 Wazobia FM Kano, your Chukmau station. Good morning to you and welcome back to the show. I salute you this better morning. And if you look at Google where you go see time don't reach for our visit Chukmau on top of one or two matters them as it take consign the discourse where we been done start since last week. We program its name now, Let's Talk GMO. Yes, if you don't ready, me like this, I ready come this week where we day inside of studio with me this morning. We follow get Dr. Ahmad Yahaya in a plant breeder and geneticist. Ooh, I hope my teeth still complete. Dr. Mohammed, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
All right, Dr. Mohammed, now from Institute for Agricultural Research, IAR, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And later on top of the program, we'll get another visitor we could join in briefly. But for right now, I'm going to start with Dr. Ahmad Yahaya. All right, Doctor, we get some very simple questions then where you go answer for us this morning. And a few of our listeners, them waiting for house, where they listen or their business places, they go later ask you their own questions just for clarity's sake. You go fit explain, give us in very simple terms what genetic modification really mean.
Thank you. So what genetic modification means, it's like, let's say you have farmers at the beginning of human civilization, developing crop varieties. They started making selection.
Yes.
And when they were making selection, what they don't understand is that they are already separating those that are bad, sending them out, and then we are now getting the best out of the best. Okay. Now, this process is to take a long time. Now, with science, we are now beginning to understand more about the biology, about the genetics of the crops. Okay. And with that, we now have a way of fast-tracking, making the thing move very fast.
Okay.
So when we have that, we now say we are at a stage where we now, instead of looking at the plant from the outside, we look at the plant from the inside. That's the genes of the plant, the DNA, which is something that's in every living thing, whether plants or animal. So genetic modification is improving the plant from the inside, not from the outside.
Okay. You get something where you been talk. You talk say, our forefathers before. How then take the do like a selecting process we go help them keep like the best of the best and then throw away the ones where no make sense. And you may talk say it take time. So I won't believe so what you mean by say it take time. Now say it has take them multiple planting seasons, right? For them to identify the good ones and keep them away from the bad ones. But right now, science don't make that process, make it not take too much time, and science now don't improve the process beyond just waiting you to use I take C. So now you go beyond waiting you to take I just take C. Now you feel even understand the plants from the inside of the said plants. I get that correct?
You explain it better than me.
Nice.
Thanks.
So now like using a mortar to pound yam, to get pounded yam, as against some machines now we can do.
Exactly.
Right?
So you see, when it comes to human development, you always have people that say, no, making pounded yam with mortar tastes better.
Right.
And that's just an issue of mindset. Some people will still, no, I prefer that one. But with time, when you say, let's make a pounded yam for 1,000 people, and then you can imagine the energy where you go put to pound that yam. So then necessity makes us to start adopting and start changing our mindset. Right. And I'm sure with time, since this will be a new technology, with time people are going to understand that it's a necessary technology for humanity.
Right.
50 years ago, how much Nigeria was like half of where we are in terms of our population. So when you look at the challenges for our farmers, they can just produce several tonnage of maize, of cowpea, and that's enough for us.
True.
But now with an explosion in our population, we need to really streamline our agriculture and ensure that we get the optimal output from our farms. We cannot afford to get our farms producing poor yield. We have to optimize everything, and that technology is really necessary.
If you wonder what thing we talk about, this on our program, it's where we call the name Let's Talk GMO Nigeria. For this Friday, the cocoa we want you guys well on top now, human health, safety, and the science of modern agricultural technology. All right. So maybe you don't hear GMO, you get some 1 or 2 questions, some concerns. This program mates go chook eye well on top of facts, and the program mates go also chook eye on top of the fears them way you get, and waiting the future of genetically modified organisms them for Nigeria go look like. All right. And the country don't they shift, they go a place where we they embrace modern technology for agriculture as tool to make sure say food follow day, alias the food security. Questions about safety is still they very important. When you hear GMO, the first thing where a lot of people they ask and say, is they safe for me to chop? You understand? So now a major ginger where and a major concern for a lot of people. And that one why it don't become, public discourse everywhere. So this episode of Moku Talk about GMO, Let's Talk GMO Nigeria, will cut through all of the noise, provide science-based, transparent look on top of what GMO truly mean. And again, the concern of health of Nigerian consumers them and the safety of our environment. Inside of studio with me this morning, we get Dr. Ahmad Yahaya, and I don't follow us the talk like this. So in a plant breeder and person with the chook eye well on top of waiting make up the plant in itself. They call them geneticists, right? Now waiting follow be from the Institute for Agricultural Research, IAR, Ahmadu Bello University for Zaria. Now moving on this morning, remember say if you leave us question as the program it follow the go, our studio WhatsApp number now 0809 526 7188. Dr. Mohammed, I get a question for you next. You been don't tell us waiting genetic modification like truly mean in terms of crops now, right? How modern biotechnology different from traditional breeding where farmers then been done the practice for generation? Crops like BPR, cowpea, teller, maize, and BT cotton, they calculate now say they developed from natural organisms, right? You feel just throw more light on that. How this one take the more preferable as compared to the traditional systems them we've been day ground where our forefathers and farmers them been they use?
Yeah, when you look at the context of biotechnology, in itself, it doesn't produce a product.
Okay.
It's a tool that we can use in our toolbox in order to develop product.
Okay.
So the idea behind having a difference between plant breeding and biotechnology is not actually true. So with biotechnology, we are just fast tracking the process of plant breeding. And plant breeding basically allows us to develop new products that have farmer preferred traits for a certain market segment. So when we look at plant breeding, conventionally, we pick different materials from the same species. Okay. So let's say I have cowpea. I'm now crossing cowpea that has a certain quality. Let's say it is resistant to striga. Striga is a parasitic plant. And another cowpea that's high yielding, but it's very poor in its response to striga. So when I'm crossing, I'm hoping to pick the genes for resistance and incorporate it in the material that is high yielding but poor with respect to striga. Okay. So basically that's breeding. When I do the crossing, I get some recombinants, and the chance of me purifying it takes like 5 years for me to get the best out of the best, because I need to make selection, move forward, keep selecting, and be sure and be hoping that that gene has already been transferred. Now, in biotechnology, like I said earlier, we are now not just going from the outside. We are going inside at the genetic, at the molecular level, to look at the genes responsible for that resistance, pick it, and then incorporate it into that material. Okay. Now, that's one way of looking at biotechnology. Another way is when I am looking at that resistance, let's say resistance to striga, is really affecting our farmers, affecting their productivity, and we search for any cowpea that's having that resistant gene. We didn't find it. We are at liberty to go to other species, natural sources, not artificial, natural sources, to look, is there any plant that has that gene for resistance? You see, they are not the same species. Now I'm looking at cowpea, then I go and check that in mung bean or in chickpea, which are almost the same ancestry.
Na family,
but
maybe.
the family, but they are not the same, species. So I can now say, okay, mung bean has that gene. I will pick it. On a normal day in plant breeding, if I cross mung bean and cowpea, I will not get good output because they are not compatible. But with biotechnology, I will pick the gene from the mung bean and insert it into cowpea. And then cowpea will pick it up. Now, because the change is at the genetic level, that means that gene can be inherited. Over several generations.
Over generations.
Yes. So now we've genetically modified that very cowpea. So this is the concern of people. They are saying it's not natural to
say
cross.
They're unnatural.
Yes. It's just like crossing donkey and a horse to give you a pony. We have been doing it over generations.
Now, it's not be one you will tell you,
look at
ask
people,
be that. Say, not be something similar what they do with dogs.
Yes.
When you go here, say, this one, it be different kind dog. They can't bring and make it mate with this different. Then you can't get
that's
different.
never existed.
Right.
The same thing with tiger. We cross a tiger and a lion. You produce a liger. It has never existed naturally. But with human beings, we are optimizing our chances of survival. We have never been this several billion in the world. But the fact that we are here, it means we have to explore a lot of chances for us to continue our survivability.
But then, doctor, I dare also say the concern where people get, they valid. I mean, you not think because like what you talk now, we never ever get this one day out of the conversation. This is you and I just chatting, sir. Now I feel understand because it like saying a new terrain where we never waka before. And it they only fair say some people truly they concerned. Now, how science, in what way you reason say science now ficon is this concern? Because now uncharted waters, right? We never, for Nigeria, maybe other developed nations, maybe over the years they consume genetically modified grains them. But now new terrain for us. How you reason say science and the work where una they do for IAR, how you reason say if you take reduce the concerns where people follow get?
So when you look at developing new crop varieties, there is no any technology that's properly regulated, stringent, very careful regulation than genetically modified crops. When I develop material through conventional means, you are right, people are okay with it. But when it comes to genetically modified crops, we follow the same international standard. And we have regulators called NBMA, the National Biosafety Management Agency. Before they even allow us to take that material outside, we have to start our trial in a confined space. We call it confined field trial. And we have to ensure that that material will not cause harm to the environment, harm to the soil, harm to any other crop that's surrounding it, and most especially, it won't cause harm to the consumers. So that is the reason why we conduct environmental assessment, we conduct risk assessment on humans, not just humans, even non-target organism. You remember I was talking to you about striga. If I develop a material using genetic modification to resist striga parasite, we have to also look at other grasses that also affect the same crop. How would it affect them? They are called non-target. Because that is not our target. But if it is affecting them, we have to see to what extent. Because the whole idea behind science is to maintain a balanced ecosystem. We may not know the importance of those grasses, but when we eliminate them, we may generate certain problems.
Earth in itself.
Yes, so overall, we have to do a lot of risk assessment over a long period of time. And like I said, we follow international standard. So when you look at the PBR cowpea, its target is only pod-sucking insects. There are other insects that visit cowpea. When they consume those cowpea, it doesn't do anything to them. And we conduct a lot of risk assessment. You have bees, they are a very beneficial insect. Data has been abound in literature showing that those insects have no the genetically modified crops have no effect on them. The data is there. It's just that yes, people are right to be concerned, but our doors are always open. Just like now we are having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
The more we have this conversation, the more we show them the data, and the more people are going to have ease of mind when it comes to utilizing those products.
You don't further go ahead to answer a few questions for me, like safety surrounding eating GMO grains, them, right? But then Gombodies them like global Gombodies them like World Health Organization and Food and Agriculture Organization. Waiting they really they yarn on top of waiting they talk on top of GMO safety. Waiting they reason about them.
Institutions that having international mandate.
Yes.
When you look at WHO, when it comes to health, when you look at Food and Agricultural Organization, when you look at food security, they will not allow any product to come on board that's going to compromise the effort they have been putting over the years.
Right.
So if this food is going to cause health risks, WHO will be at the forefront of telling the world through many avenues, in local languages, in international languages, publications, avoid this crop. WHO is on board with genetically modified crops. When you look at Food and Agricultural Organization, they have consistently published a lot of data on its safety, a lot of data on its benefits, not just on human consumption, but even on the environment.
Right.
Let me give you a typical example.
Yes.
When farmers plant cowpea, minimum a farmer will spray 5 times. And those sprays are insecticides. They are chemicals. They are harmful to himself because most of our farmers don't wear proper kit.
Gears them to protect themselves. Yeah.
They don't wear it. So that means as they are doing that spraying, they are inhaling it because the winds are blowing.
True.
Now, you can have runoff. The chemicals sprayed on the plants, it rains, it washes those chemicals, it ends
into our
up in the water
waterways.
bodies.
Okay.
So you can see a lot of challenges when it comes to using those chemicals. Now, when we modify those crops, we are saying that the plants will now have a defense, internal defense to defend themselves, and it will save the farmer from spraying. Now you see we are avoiding the health risks to humans, we are avoiding the environmental risks, and also contamination to our water bodies. So overall, when people are looking at one side, they should look at the bigger picture. The crops are beneficial to our environment and also to ourselves.
From the work Wona they do back here for Nigeria, right? Honestly, by the way, get how we talk about GMOs reach where we not always get people then where they skeptical about them, right? But from the work Wona they do so far, we know they're concerned about the work where they don't do in the abroad, right? From the work Wona they do, not get any scientific evidence where they link GMOs them to diseases or long-term health risks, because they are aware. Say a lot of our locally developed food as well, the ones quote and unquote what we term natural, right? They well loved in the developed nations. And that one are why they also get waiting them for that side they call farmers market, quote and unquote, where they go source for waiting they believe today more naturally grown, right? So back home here from on our walk, I know say the work don't start for background, they don't taste small. But for the few years, the reason say get hard these GMOs them feel they connected to any kind disease or long-term health risk. Now, before you answer that, sir, make I read a message for you. This man named Namomiji Disakukpaku of Nupe Kingdom. In talk say, I welcome our guest. There is a general belief that a newborn child, when he drink the milk from a mama breast, it a day well. Science even they talk say it is strengthen the child immune system. And this one better pass make the pikin drink the processed one. From where me I stand, Mommy G the Sakukpaku of Nupe Kingdom, me and the reason say the processed one are like the GMO food now one are the force us to chop. Now waiting this man they ask me that. Because we day here when they talk say breast milk is very good for a child, except in cases where maybe the health of the mother somehow no balance, then they go say make it start to feed the baby with the milks them inside gongoni, except in those cases. So how you want take answer Mommy G now? Because this example is very relatable. Right? Every day, we pregnant women, if they go antenatal, they tell them, make sure, take care of yourself. When the pikin come, they say for hospital, go safe. They go even encourage the mama to breastfeed the baby. Immediately the baby come. Oh yeah, GMO versus milk now like this.
Yeah, I love her analogy.
Yeah, now
I'm happy. Yes, and I'm happy with your last, closing statement when you said, "What if the mom has certain challenges and she couldn't feed her baby?" So you see, what we are saying is, in our toolbox, we have many options. If we go conventional, it takes us time to develop those materials, but we are in a race for time. When you look at a mother and her baby is crying and she has no option, what do you think she will do? So the idea is, we are not saying with time we are going to phase out our natural food.
Okay.
If I can call it that. What we are saying is, we are giving people option. Even in modern, developed countries, you still have farmers growing natural, homegrown food, organic, without using pesticide, and you still have farmers growing the non-conventional type. So when you go to the farm, you go to the shops, you always have options.
You will get option.
Exactly.
That one, they label them, make option.
Exactly. So nobody is saying that we are phasing out her own homegrown food. So they will exist side by side, I can assure her.
To you there. Welcome back on Top 95.1 Wazobia FM Kano, your chook mouth station. This morning, inside of studio, we get Dr. Ahmad Yahaya, a plant breeder and geneticist from the Institute for Agricultural Research, IAR, for Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And we also get Opomshos Sabi Bros. One of the things why I like about people, when are they inside offices, now say a lot of time, they get hands-on experience. All right, we get a farmer with us live and direct this morning. A name na Sanusi Denkau. I hope I get your name correct, sir. Good morning.
You're correct. Good morning.
Good morning. We did fine, thank you. And we get a guest just like you. A name na Dr. Ahmad Yahaya. Say hello to Dr. Mohammed. They hear you.
Hello, doctor.
Hello, Sanusi. Good morning.
Good morning this morning, sir.
All right. Oga Sanusi, how many years you done the farm now, sir, may I ask? How long you done the farm?
Well, precisely 30 years.
Okay. Your farming experience is almost older than me, sir.
It should be.
All right. Oga Sanusi, I get a few questions to ask you really quick. You don't they plant GMO seedlings, the seed them? You don't they use them for your farm?
Yes.
What's in your experience day like so far?
Well, like you said, I've been using GMO seeds for some time.
Okay.
Almost precisely 10 years.
How many years?
5-6 years.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What's in your experience don't they like?
Well, the yields, of course, which is the main target, have been increasing all over the years.
Okay.
And the maturity period, that is the time the crop takes from the time it is planted to when you harvest,
yes,
is also minimized.
Okay.
And then the crop resistance to most of the preventable.
Sorry, the crop resistance to what? The line being fade there, will not hear you.
Okay, to diseases and insects.
Insects, them, okay. Pests, them, where they worry food plants, okay.
Is mendable.
Okay, so it reduce well. And I get one follow-up question for you, Oga Sanusi. The major hear from people where not they even farm like myself, because I know they farm, right? The major concern what we don't hear from people where they farm now say, when you use GMO, over time, you know if you plant natural seeds anymore for your farm, right? You don't experience something close to that or something like what don't happen to the integrity of your farmland over this period of time where you plant GMO seeds them?
Well, the integrity of the farm still remains.
If I wash tomato now, pour the water for your farm, the seed go grow?
if you wash tomato
and seed they inside the water and I just pour them for your farm, it go grow? Because that was what our mothers did. That was how our mothers had gardens right in front of the house, backyard of the house. Now tomato where they wash, pepper where they wash, they just pour the water for ground, and before you know, something is growing. Of course, they didn't grow so much. It was never enough to feed, anybody in the house. But then the soil was healthy. So my question to you, Oga Sanusi, I say, if I wash tomato now, pour a little portion of the water and the seed around your farm, something go sprout? Network go answer. You not even get waiting network won't do this morning. Network go answer. Oga Sanusi, you are my last hope, sir, as a farmer with 30 years experience. Talk to me about the integrity of your farmland.
It, like I said, still remains.
The integrity still remains.
It remains.
Wow.
It doesn't affect the.
So where your farm there? Nakanu you there?
It's Kano, of course.
Nakanu you there? For like come excursion, no. Thank God, say I get your number.
Please, you will always be welcome. And I will show you where I've been growing the GMO seeds over the years.
Okay,
and
interesting.
The land still remains productive.
Okay.
I've been seeing reports that when you plant GMO this year, next year, nothing grows. I seriously don't believe in that.
Right.
Because practically I've done it over the years, and there was nothing like that.
Hopefully, Oga Sanusi, for the coming episode, we'll like to connect with you again. But thank you very much for your input. I need to get back to Dr. Mohammed because he gets some questions to answer for me. He get one or two I still won't ask him. Thank you very much, sir.
It's all okay.
I'll go call you after the program because that your farm excursion go good. You do well, sir. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to talk to Oga Sanusi more, but we go connect with him another day again, and hopefully we get a better network. Because of time, I would like to come back to Oga Mohammed. Oga Mohammed, how are you liking yourself? Are you sweating like me right now? Oga Mohammed, they're very chilled. Now, they ask the question, they sweat. All right, I would like to ask you one more question so that we'll wrap up because of time. So before approval, which kind testings them GMO crops they undergo for Nigeria? Now, I ask this because, Obodo Yibo, where did they do them? We different from them. We did very different. And my stand against everything where we learn from Obodo Yibo na say, if for good when we learn them, we could consider our own peculiarities when we come back house to implement what we carry from there. So far with your work, Moku understand which kind testings them GMO crops they undergo for Nigeria before it can reach the place where una go talk say it ready for commercial use.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when we look at it, when you compare with Obodo Ibo, you need to understand the problems we are solving with GMO are problems that are local. For cowpea,
yes,
that cowpea, we don't grow it abroad. It's only an African crop.
Okay.
Mostly it's not grown in temperate areas. It's a tropical crop. So the insect itself is local. So the solution is local. So that starting from there, before you go out and get anything out there that's genetically modified, you have to first put up the application for regulatory approvals so that you can be able to conduct that experiment. So first, you inform the regulatory organization, which is the MBMA. When you inform them, they will ask you questions. Can you give us detail about the material that you are developing, what is it going to solve? And of course, if it's not solving a national issue, a very emergent issue, and there's no solution available, then MBMA will start considering your application. Then the next you start is the confined field trial, which is something that it has to be in an enclosed space. You cannot take it out. That means animals cannot go in there and eat it. Human beings will not have access to the facility and consume it or even pick the seeds. And then before you know it, you see it in the market. So that has to be there. And those fields will even have security personnel. And I can assure you, any person that will visit the field, he has to log in his information while going in, and he has to state his purpose. So that means there's restriction with respect to accessing those facilities. Now, when we are sure of the trial, and the essence of the trial is to be sure that what we are developing, the reason we are developing that material in the field, it will stand that, what we are saying. So if it is resistant to, pod borer insect, we have to expose it to field condition, allow pod borer insects to come and see we plant them side by side with normal cowpea and the genetically modified cowpea, and we see their performance side by side, and we collect data. When we collect data, next we now collect that very seed itself and start doing risk assessment. We look at it in terms of its nutritional profile, in terms of its digestibility, how even allergenicity. Will it cause allergens? Will it cause certain challenges when it comes to young women, pregnant women,
pregnancy
young
and
girls?
all that, yeah.
All that will, you see, it's treated just like in the pharmaceutical industry. We have to test and look at all those challenges. At what dose is it going to affect a certain class of people? And I can tell you, sometimes when we are conducting those risk assessments, we even used to increase the dose, so that we can see in a worst case scenario what can happen.
So imagine, say, genetically modified grains, now the person just they chop all through in life. Now, what you talk about that, like increasing the dose to see if any impact.
So here is what people need to understand. Almost all the food we are eating, they have certain chemicals that at a certain dose it can harm a person.
Sure.
You look at cowpea, you look at groundnut, you look at soybean, you look at even the milk we are taking. At a certain dose, it can affect people. So it's not the presence of those chemicals. It's the dose of those chemicals.
Dose of it.
So when we put it in that scale, we now see, is it going to affect people? It wouldn't. Now, if it wouldn't, then we put together that data, and to be sure, sometimes we have to conduct it in different scenarios using our partners, so they can conduct it in different labs that are totally isolated to avoid conflict of interest. So we wouldn't interfere.
When I not go engage or chook mouth for the.
We get independent risk assessors. They provide their data. We also provide.
This one where you talk, time don't go. This one where you talk independent assessment and the rest. And I be one talk say, una sure say this whole GMO arrangement, some kind political arrangee, monkey hand not follow day under. Monkey hand means, are you sure nobody is somewhere pulling the strings for this GMO to GMO in here in Nigeria?
So the good thing is, when we develop those crops, there's a program we hold called Eating is Believing.
Okay.
We are the first to start eating it.
Right.
So when you look at cowpea, our professors, our the senior colleagues, we ourselves, we consume it and we get people to consume it. So we use it and it's safe. If it's not safe, we'll be the first to avoid it.
If not even there.
So that Seeing is Believing is part of our product launch to get people to understand that we are also part of the consumers.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. Talk still there, but no time. Maybe another time we'll continue. Somebody be even get question for me here. Doctor, you sure say not be you who go tell IAR people may send call next week, because you don't start waiting, you will never finish. So you will answer this question on Friday. But thank you very much for your time today. Inside of studio with me now, Dr. Mohammed Ahmad Yahaya, and a plant breeder and geneticist from Institute for Agricultural Research, IAR, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And our second guest for today, na a farmer, a name na Sanusi Denkau, ain't done the farm almost as old as they born me. You understand?